everyone, this is Mumbo, and welcome back to another episode on the Hermitcraft server. It is episode 133, and today we're starting things off outside our new storage silos, once again, without the mustache. This is episode 2 of me being clean shaven, so you've got 8 more episodes to go. But anyway, as you can see behind me, I've got both sets of storage silos there, and then you see those lit up areas in the ceiling? That's where the cactus is going to fall through. Now, I must admit, I was kind of expecting to have seen a cactus fall through there by now. I like to think... Oh, there was one. There was one. There's 2. There's a couple. I mean, I think we're just outside the loading distance of entities. But if we stand up here, then we can see it very clearly. We can see the items falling down. As you can see, these things are working, and they are actually filling up with cacti. Look, we've got a bunch in there, and we also have a bunch in this one as well. We'll clear out all of this rubbish. But anyway, what I thought I'd do to start off today's Hermitcraft episode is do a quick overnight AFK session and just see how much of this stuff we can actually get. Well, I've got to say I am incredibly impressed here, because I have been AFK for probably around about, well, I took the day off yesterday, so it's been 2 nights and 1 full day, and by the look of things, we have got a decent quantity of cactus in that time. That is not a bad start. What's that? 10 double chests in total? Around about. The only thing that I will say is... okay. So it looks like when the water went down through this thing, because of all the leaks that we had, we actually broke some of the comparators. Okay, let me quickly fix that up, and then those lights at the bottom should turn on as well. I really need to actually start putting some of these items back into the storage system. I think next time I go AFK overnight, we should probably kick that thing into gear, because this is getting ridiculous. Now that that's done, I think we should just do this for good measure. Mumbo Cactoni, is this going to be a good episode of Hermitcraft? Yes, it is. Okay, continue watching. Wow, okay, it looks like some progress is being made in the town area, but the reason that we're going to the town area is because, well, I need to go underneath here and check out the... What on earth is that noise? Was that a... How many llamas or alpacas are there? Okay, I'm gonna move swiftly on from this area because that sounded absolutely horrifying. I'm gonna head down to the door store because apparently I have actually got a request. Now, I've had a request in here for quite some time, according to the comment section. So if we just take a look inside, we should see... Yes! Secret door by false symmetry. Hey Mumbo, I'm looking for one or 2 secretive doors as my entrances to my black market located at my base. If this is something you can do, please get in touch. False. Okay, that sounds pretty good to me. I think I might have found the source of all that noise. Wow, this is amazing. And they're all wearing their little carpets. Holy mackerel. Oh, that's fantastic. So I've just popped over to False's base, and this is so cool. I'm taking a lot of inspiration for the town area here. A lot of inspiration. This looks fantastic. I wonder where the black market is. I mean, I guess that's the point of the black market, and the reason why she wants the secret doors is that it's not meant to be obvious where the black market is. Otherwise, it wouldn't be much of a black market. It would just be a regular market. So, I've just spoken to False, and apparently this is one of the door areas, and this is the other one. So, this is 3 blocks wide, and then we have, I guess that's like 2.5 blocks. So this could probably be done with a fairly regular 3x3 door, with just a little bit of extra stuff up at the top to make this area fold in. And then the other one could be a tiny bit more complicated. So I've just gone into the redstone testing world and I've been doing some very basic designing. This is just the bottom half of the 3x3 door. And then I was working out all the top section, but then when I went back onto the server, I realized that this area would be really cool if we could match it up with the terrain. So for example, these blocks kind of pop up and then drop down, and then we essentially have like a hill that all gets retracted back and moved out the way so that you can go through this hole. I think that's better than having a flat wall. That obviously wouldn't be particularly very hidden. This project has ended up being a lot bigger than I was expecting, but we've just about managed to pull everything off. So we have a ton of different circuits going on here and a bunch of different block retractions, but if we flick this lever... That was close. But it didn't quite do it. I wonder what went wrong there. So this first design has been a massive pain in the backside to build. It's taken quite a long time, but I've managed to pull it off. We've got a bunch of double piston extenders. We've got all sorts of different things going on around here. And if we flick this lever, you can see that everything gets retracted out the way. And then when we flick the lever once again, everything gets re-extended. So there we go. That is the fully functional hidden door design. Right, okay, I've got quite a lot of resources to gather because this involves a ton of observers, so we're going to need to gather up all of those, but then we'll gather those and we'll build it on the Hermitcraft server. So, first things first, we need to gather up a whole bunch of wood to get all of the torches to make all of these things, and also I want to gather wood anyway, but as per usual, I have chosen to do this in the dark, in an area that has absolutely no lights, and I'm being attacked by invisible spiders. You know, I'm going back to the base. I'm done with this place. I don't want to be here. We've got ourselves all fully kitted out with Redstone Supplies. So I've got myself 64 pistons. We've got a bunch of sticky pistons. We've got some hoppers. We've got some droppers. We've got some observers, some quartz, some slime blocks, some repeaters, comparators, redstone torches, all that sort of thing. All that's been gathered. In fact, I've pretty much refilled my nerd box here. So now let's start chucking the redstone around here. I think first things first, bottom area. Okay, part 1 is completed. We have got these blocks that pop up just fine. That's all good. Now next up, what we need to do is, I think this block gets pushed across, this block gets pushed across, this one does, and this one gets retracted back out the way. So this is what it's actually going to look like in the hillside, which I think is pretty cool. That looks great. Okay, I would say part 2 is now all completed as well. Let's just quickly pop outside and give this a test. I can't remember where I actually left my lever. Alright, maybe that wasn't the best start. I just did some piston-based terraforming. So that's opened up there and there. I think if we flick this lever. Okay! Nice! So that's all closed up. And that's everything opening. So now we just need to retract this block out the way using a little L-shaped piston type thing. And that will be this first piston door all done and dusted. And there we go. If we flick the lever that's down here, that is everything closed up. And then that is everything opening. So that's happy days there. And if we take a look inside, you can see I've done a tiny bit of clearing up. To the best of my ability. I could probably do some cleaning in and around here, but to be honest, I think I'm going to leave that up to False, because I really don't know how False... I don't want to build something and do a bunch of decorating that False thinks looks ugly, because let's face it, I mean, she is clearly much better at decorating than I am. This place is awesome. This is a seriously cool spot, but anyway, as you can see, if we flick the lever once again, everything closes. We've got one hidden piston door. Now there is a second one somewhere around the other side. Speaking of False, I've just realised she's logged in and she's over there. How's it going? I've built your door. Anyway, door number 2 is in the process of being planned out. The only thing that I will say about this place is that we do not have a lot of vertical room. As you can see, we have got absolutely no room underneath the floor, which means that we're probably going to have to do some sliding bits here, which should be interesting. I think we should be able to pull it off. I'm just going to have to pop into the redstone testing world real quick. I think this could be the design all done. So if we give it a flick, you can see that all pops out. So this is where the grass is, and then this is where it all goes up, I think. So we have that sort of setup, and then this side is where the stairs are. And if you flick it, yeah, everything kind of retracts out the way. So that's perfect. So that is that's the other door all done. It's just a little triple piston extender with this extra piston added in. Brilliant. Okay, let's build on the Hermitcraft server. Part 1 of the process is now all done and dusted. So we have got the full triple piston extender that goes across like that, and then we also have the full retraction as well. We're having to use some pretty mismatched blocks inside the circuitry here because I'm starting to run low on them. So we've got some stone slabs dotted around, we've got some dirt blocks in there, we've got some more stone slabs over here, and then I think, yeah, all of this is placed on dirt. So it's not exactly the prettiest redstone contraption that I've made, but it is working. That's like 90% of the circuitry done. I think the only thing that we have to do now is link up this piston, which I can't remember how we actually do that. I think it's a redstone dot which powers this block, and then that gets connected in somehow through here. This could be a bit tricky. Cool, looks like everything's done. If we flick the lever, then that will retract all of this out the way, and this door is now all opened up, which means that we're actually gonna have to, so this goes like that. So we have that as an opening. I guess False will be a little bit upset if we don't run furnaces all the way across there. So we have that sort of thing going on. Maybe furnaces going up like this as well. Okay, and then I've just thought the one issue with this design is that you need to have a hole there. There needs to be a hole in the wall. There's no two ways about it, unfortunately, because that piston has to be able to slide through. Yeah, I can't think of any way that we could fix that other than by powering one of these pistons over here. But sadly, that isn't going to work because all of this area underneath here is filled in with things that False has built. So I don't want to start tearing through our builds and placing in redstone lines. What we're going to do instead is that we're just going to have a hole. And we can try our best to make it look a tiny bit better than it already does. I don't know if that's made it better or worse. Anyway, if we flick this lever down at the bottom here, then that will close up the entire piston door, and you can see it's nicely hidden away inside the hillside. And then when we flick the lever once again, you can see that everything opens up. Okay, there we go. Both piston doors are now fully completed. I'm going to place all of the signs, and I'll let False know that it's all done. The doors are all done. I hope you like them. All levers and things can be rewired. If you need a hand, let me know. Now, onto the payment. You can either pay the 9 million diamond charge, or alternatively, you can take on my parkour course at -105 by -509. Good luck from Mumbo. Now, I'm not going to give a time limit on this one because I feel like 45 seconds it made things quite difficult, but I would quite like to see False try and take it on. That being said, obviously, if she wants to pay 9 million diamonds, then I will appreciate that as well. I mean, I'm not going to complain if she turns down the parkour course and goes for 9 million diamonds. Anyway, aside from all of that, now what I want to do is I want to head off in this general direction for the first time in a large number of episodes. At one point, I kind of committed to doing a bunch of building here. I said that I was going to drop in and do like a house every single episode. As you can see, that didn't last. It didn't last many episodes. So I want to work on a handful of houses, and I think the next section should be this area over here. We actually have quite a lot of space, so it might be an idea to do some form of almost like terraced houses, like a line of townhouses going along this little spot. I'm kind of scared. I've suddenly got scared. You know what? I'm going to have some lunch and then I'm going to come back. Hopefully I'll be less fearful then. And I have just remembered, yeah, I still look disgusting. Okay, as always, feeling much better now that I've got some food in me, and I've already started work on the project, and I think the way that I'm going to do it is essentially I'm going to do a double version of this house here. So we've got the same bottom section, and then we'll have the same top section, but it will be like a twin peak. I've just realized that this is missing. Huh, okay, we'll have to... Oh, yeah. I forget that Iscal can just see my face at all times. But yeah, as I say, it's gonna have two peaks going up and down like that, up at the top right there. For goodness sake. This guy's actually come up with quite a funny idea. He's asked me, basically, to gradually grow back my mustache. That would be quite funny, yeah. So I get like a few little bits, a little bit of hair growing back, and then gradually it comes back full force. That would be brilliant. Yeah, I'm going to work on that. Okay, progress is coming along pretty well on this thing. Let's just take a look at how it looks when we have a big block of this house. Yeah, I think that looks quite cool. I don't know if that's just me being rubbish at building, but I like the way this is coming together. It's like a really, really old London townhouse. Really, really old. Seriously old. So now this thing is not a movie set anymore. It's not just the front edge. We have an actual 3D structure. And I'm just flying around out the side of the town just to make sure that everything's looking shipshape. And I think it is. I personally think it is. As someone that's pretty terrible at building and everything, yeah, I think that looks quite good. That's quite a good size. I think maybe it might be a good idea to have more of these dotted around because they take up quite a lot of space. They look good in the town. They make sense. And then maybe a few more of these dotted around here and there. Yeah, I've built the first part of the roof and I'm fairly certain I've done this wrong. So wait, so this... Oh yeah, that's definitely very wrong. Okay, so we need to... Oh, it's wonky. Is it wonky? Am I going crazy here? Yeah, there's definitely much more space between the flower pots in that area than there is on this one. This one looks way too tall. Nice! This is looking much, much better now. Now that we've actually got a decent sized roof on this thing and it looks fairly standard, that looks really, really cool. So the way that these roofs work is that we have a central strut going across and then we're going to have these two peaks. So you'll see we'll have a bar going across here, a bar going across there, and then a bar extending out that side. And then it will almost be like, well, this is like a cross, so it'll be two crosses next to one another if we're viewing it from above. Okay, I think that makes sense. I don't know, I've been playing a lot of Minecraft today. The roof has now been planned out. Now, it turns out the reason why I messed up the peak the first time is because the side peak is taller than the front peak. So this side peak here is a little bit bigger than the ones that go in the front because the fronts have these tiny little edges that I have on the sides. I don't know how I built this thing because this does not look like the sort of house that I personally would build, but I designed it myself, which is surprising because those little details and things like that, they're not the sorts of things that naturally come to my mind. So this was one of those builds that definitely took a long time to design. But anyway, if we take a look out the side here, yeah, that looks pretty big. That's quite a monstrous build there. It's a bit of a mansion. Now, obviously, it's meant to be townhouses, so this is 4 separate houses in one. But it does look huge. I wonder what it's going to look like once we actually start getting all of these in place. I mean, once we start to get a full roof on it, it's going to look enormous. And finally, this house is now all completed. If we just place in these last few stairs just going across like this, so it's got those stairs there, and then we just need to connect up this line of stairs here. That is everything. Everything is now all done. This thing is all built. And it looks pretty cool if you're asking me. That looks pretty cool. Now, it got a little bit tricky in the center here. I don't know really what to do. Because all the points came together and met. Maybe have something like that, so it's like one central point. That could potentially work. I also need to take down all of the scaffolding that we have going around the top here. But that is the finished house. And I have to say, yeah, no, I really like it. I think it looks really, really cool. That's a seriously, seriously cool looking building. That looks great. So there we go. Very nice. Very, very nice. Now, I'm trying to think in terms of what I want to do for the rest of the town. Are all of the other houses going to be staying like this, or is this going to be like the expensive end? Because these definitely look like expensive houses. So is this going to be like the expensive end, and then maybe we have some slightly smaller, less grand structures around in this area, and then the market over there? I don't know, that's a difficult one. That's going to be a tricky one. So I guess, you know, I kind of want to know your thoughts down in the comment section with this one. I want to know what you think in terms of how this build should be looking, how we should go on from here. I do think another one of these should be built somewhere else in the town. Maybe in this area. This looks like quite a good spot, and then a few smaller houses down here. I don't know. Let me know down in the comment section. I'd love to hear all of your opinions. But unfortunately, ladies and gentlemen, that is actually all I've got time for today. I hope you enjoyed this jam-packed episode of Hermitcraft. If you have, please sure to hit that like button. And if you really loved it, then make sure to subscribe. But thanks for watching, guys. This has been Mumbo, and I'm out. I'll see you later. Oh, and as per usual, check out the latest film on the filming channel. Link will be on the end screen.